Alright guys, we've made it to the top 10. These are my 10 favorite movies of all time. So I may talk a little bit more about these, some of these ones than I did the other ones. I'm trying not to be too long-winded, but anyways, coming in at number 10 is Ghostbusters. That's right, the original classic from 1984 with Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, Sigourney Weaver, Rick Moranis. It's like, talk about a cast, right? I mean, it's like a, I'm gonna say it's an action sci-fi comedy. Okay, there's some comedy elements to it, but there's the screenshots of the back there. You know, there's the original four guys. There's Slimer. There's Sigourney Weaver there when she's almost possessed by Zool. But yeah, I mean, what can you say about this one? It's a timeless classic. I mean, if you haven't seen it by now, please check it out. I mean, they don't make movies like this. I mean, yeah, you're gonna probably say, oh, the special effects look dated, you know. It's like, oh, okay, it came out in 1984, but for 1984, I think they pulled, you know, they did something special here. And again, special effects doesn't make a good movie. It takes much more than that. You know, you gotta have a good story, you gotta have good actors, good characters. You know, and this movie pulls it off. This movie has it all. So, I mean, yeah, there's really not much else to say. Check it out, and if you haven't seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about after you see it. And if you have seen it, you probably agree with me. It's a pretty dang good movie. So, Ghostbusters is number 10. Whoa. Alright, number 9. Die Hard with Bruce Willis. So yes, once again, right? The original, the classic, number 1. I mean, usually, in most cases, the first one is always the best. That's usually the case. But this one here, what a blockbuster movie. I mean, and oddly enough, people look at this as a Christmas movie because it happens around Christmas time. You know, and that could be a good excuse just to watch a cool action movie, right? But yeah, the Nakatomi Towers, right? Bruce Willis, you know, taking on these terrorists. That's like a cool explosion here. Helicopter, right? This movie came out in 1988. Right? There's this Bruce on the background. So yeah, this movie has lots of action, lots of gunfire, lots of explosions. Pretty high stakes, you know, terrorists taking over a building, holding people hostage, right? And Bruce Willis. This takes place out in L.A., but Bruce Willis is a cop from New York, so he's like, you know, kind of out of his element, out of his, you know, he's kind of in a different world. But yeah, can't say enough about the first Die Hard movie. Die Hard is number 9. Solid action movie. 2 thumbs up. Alright, number 8 is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Again, we all know Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones, but in this movie we introduce his father, which is played by Sean Connery. It's like, are you kidding me? You just made it that much more epic, automatic. And Sean Connery plays a good part. You really buy it. You really buy that they're father and son in this movie. They had good chemistry between them. There's some good screenshots on the back. But yeah, Indiana Jones, it's like, if you like, I call this like an adventure movie. It's almost like, it's an adventure, it's a journey with action in it. I mean, some pretty cool action, right? I mean, look at this artwork. Especially there at the front, he's on a horse riding towards you. He's got his gun pointing at you. There's a plane chasing him there in the background. That he takes on. So many good things about this movie. Again, another great movie from 1989. So many great movies came out that year, but this was one of them, right? and I highly, highly, highly recommend you check this out. If you like adventure movies, again, that are set in a time where it's like in the, you know, the mid 20th century, okay? So this is before the, you know, the high-tech world came about. You know, this is before cell phones even. This movie takes place. Even before a flip phone. Like, flip phones weren't even a thing. They had a regular landline phones where they had the dial phone. But yeah, anyways, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, my favorite Indiana Jones movie, comes in at number 8 in my top 100. Alright, so number 7 is The Crow, Brandon Lee. Again, the first Crow movie. Again, the first one is the best, in my opinion. Now, I do have a couple other Crow movies. I have the sequel to this, City of Angels, and even the one that Edward Furlong did. I believe that was called maybe Wicked Prayer, if I believe, which that one wasn't too bad. I still dig it. Okay, you know, a little bit. But this one here, man, this is the epic one. This movie is epic, right? So Brandon Lee, Ernie Hudson. There's some screenshots on the back. There's Ernie. Look at that. A car explosion going into the water. Yeah, this, and if you, in case you don't know, this was Brandon Lee's final movie because he actually was killed during the making of this movie. It's so sad because to me this was really his breakout role, and if that unfortunate accident didn't happen, he probably would have went on to make, you know, be a big star. I mean, he was on his way. He did a few movies before this, and they were all pretty decent. It's like they kept getting better. This one was his best one, and it's like, man, it was a freak accident, you know. It was a scene where he got shot, and they said it was blanks, but even though it was blanks, it still had enough like force and pressure where, it killed him, unfortunately. But yeah, Brandon Lee as the Crow, I mean, outstanding performance on his part. And Ernie Hudson is solid as always. So, if you haven't seen this movie, please do yourself a favor and check out The Crow. Alright, number 6. The Lost Boys. This is my DVD copy. My classic Warner Brothers, where, you know, they got the flap, and then it's, you know, got the cool scenes there from the movie there. There's the chapter index. I love how it snaps, like, it snaps right there like that. And here's the back. What a good shot of Kiefer there when he's vamping out, right? And then there's Kiefer and his boys, Marco, Paul, and Dwayne, along with David. But yeah, classic vampire lore with a little twist. I will say that they do take a little bit of liberties, a little bit of twist to it, but not too much. But still classic vampire lore as far as, yeah, sunlight makes them catch on fire, not sparkle. Okay, they don't sparkle, they catch on fire. Yeah, also holy water is implemented in this movie. Okay, so yeah, those are two very classic vampire lore elements. But again, great cast: Kiefer Sutherland, Jason Patric, the two Corys, Corey Feldman, Corey Haim. You know, at the height of their fame and popularity. Okay, you know, and also a little tidbit there. You know, Alex Winter plays Marco, which, in case you don't know, he played, you know, that's Bill from Bill and Ted. Okay, so Bill and Ted, or Bill is in this movie. He plays Marco. He's one of the vampires. So, yeah, I can't say enough about this. It's very, even though this is an 80s movie, it really holds up. You know, as far as, like, I mean, you can tell it's 80s, and it's so 80s culture, but it's not cheesy 80s. It's like the best of the 80s. It's like the rockin' 80s, right? Not the cheesy 80s. Lost Boys, can't say enough about it. If you like vampire movies, real vampire movies, check out The Lost Boys. And you'll be glad you did. Alright, guys, top 5. So this is like you know, we're already in the cream of the crop, so this is like the best of the cream of the crop, right? So coming in at number 5 is Predator. Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? That classic, again, that artwork. Basically, it's like a digitized photo. This is the Predator. This is what the Predator sees. This is like his vision. This is the Predator's vision. This is how he sees Arnold. So it's almost like a heat-seeking. He goes by. He has a mask and he has like a infrared where he picks up heat, body heat. So that's why he looks digitized like that. But that awesome digitized cover with the crosshair on right there. I dig this cover. I want to get a poster of this. That would be awesome. There's just the back. It just shows a screenshot of Arnold right with the gun, and there is the Predator there, where him and the Predator are facing off at the end. But yeah, I did see this movie in the theaters when it came out. My uncle took me to see this on my birthday. So this came in 1987. So for my 13th, when I turned 13, my 13th birthday, I saw this movie in the theaters. Again, great memories, right? But also awesome action sci-fi movie. I mean, if you like action, straight up action where it's kick-ass, no pussyfooting around. It's like these are macho guys. They're part of a special like elite, almost like a special Delta Force, I guess. That's like, Arnold has a crew, like a handful of guys. They're special ops basically, and they go into the jungle, and it's like it becomes basically them against the Predator. Interesting, right? So yeah, check this movie out if you haven't seen it. Predator is number 5. Alright, number 4, which is my favorite vampire movie, Fright Night, from 1985. And there you can see, that is Chris Sarandon's autograph. I got a chance to meet Chris. Chris is he is the one who plays Jerry Dandridge, who is the vampire in this movie. That's him at the top, dancing there with Amy. That's the character's name. So that's Jerry and Amy. So Chris plays the vampire. There he is vamping out. Okay. So Chris Sarandon plays the vampire in this movie. So I got the chance to meet Chris at the Steel City Con in December 2019, and I had him. He autographed my VHS copy of Fright Night for me, and I also got to take a picture with him. So I'll put that right about here. But yeah, Fright Night is my favorite vampire movie, and it's like, why is it my favorite? Because I love classic vampire lore. That is where you hold the cross and they can't look at it. It scares them away, or they shy away from it. Cross, holy water, garlic, stake in the heart. They sleep in a coffin by day and they rise out of the coffin by night. That is classic vampire lore. Really, to me, this is the last movie that I know of that really stuck to that formula. Because again, Lost Boys, they did a little twist on things. Okay, well, I'll just say, like, garlic didn't work. Garlic did not work in Lost Boys, and you did not see them in a coffin. They were actually like in a cave, hanging like upside down like a bat. So Lost Boys is a great movie, I love it, but they did take a couple liberties in steering away from the true classic vampire lore, where they're in a coffin by day, and they have to have the soil, right? Their native soil, the dirt. That goes back to the original Dracula movie. All right, Bram Stoker's Dracula. So to me, Fright Night is it's a modern classic now because it came out in the 80s, but it's basically, for a modern vampire movie, they stuck to the classic, traditional everything. No reflection in the mirror, all that stuff, all that good, cool, awesome stuff that makes a vampire what we know, what people know to make a vampire, right? So yeah, can't say enough about this. Fright Night. There is some comedy element to it, just a little bit, just enough to lighten the mood here and there. But yeah, it's very intriguing. Basically, this teenage boy, he gets a new neighbor, moves in next door, and he realizes pretty soon that his new neighbor is a vampire. But nobody believes him, not even his girlfriend or his best friend or his own mother. His own mother thinks he's crazy. She's like, she tries to warm him up some hot chocolate and have him drink it. He's like, I don't need hot cocoa. I didn't have a nightmare. He's like, I did see a girl over there, and the guy had fangs, and it's like, he's a vampire, right? And they all think he's cuckoo. So, yeah, awesome vampire movie, classic vampire lore, Fright Night. Check it out. All right, guys, we're in the top three. Top three. So coming in at number 3 is Blue Thunder with Roy Scheider and Daniel Stern and Malcolm McDowell, right? Awesome view. I like this box, so this artwork of the helicopter, because the original box just showed like an actual photo and it was like a straight on shot, and you mainly just saw like the two big lights shining at you. You didn't see much of the helicopter. I dig this. I dig that a lot. That's a drawing. That artwork of the chopper. Love it. Was happy I found this box. And here's a shot of the back. This takes place in Los Angeles, so they're testing this special prototype helicopter over LA, right? And in case you don't know, Roy Scheider, he's the Chief Brody from Jaws. So like this came out in 1982, which was 7 years after Jaws. But again, very solid performance by Roy Scheider in this movie. I love his character, what he does with it. He's kind of like, an old school cop. He kind of doesn't, play by the rules always. He's kind of always at odds with his boss, that type of thing. But the bottom line is, though, he gets the job done, though. But again, I love helicopters, okay? And if you love helicopters, and you definitely you'll love this movie. It's Blue Thunder is the name of the helicopter. That's the nickname. It's very high tech. It can do things other normal helicopters can't do. It can, like, as far as like what it's equipped with. As far as like, it's basically spy gear. It can spy on you. It's got cameras. It's got ultra sensitive microphones where it can listen into conversations like, from very far away. They can zoom in a camera from very far away. They can basically, there's a whisper mode where it's very quiet. Also, and it's armed with a, basically like a 10 millimeter cannon, right? It's like like a minigun. It spins real fast and it's like rapid fire. Yeah, it can do some damage. Yeah, awesome movie. And just my last point about this movie, there's something realistic about this movie as far as the tone, the feel, the music they chose for the scenes, for all the different scenes. It just fit. It made you feel like, man, this could really happen. And they do. It does say at the beginning of the movie that all the hardware featured in this movie is real and in use today, at the time. So, but a lot of it also, there's a lot of like corruption in this movie, like from people that are high up, like politicians, or people that are on some kind of like special committee, that are they're respected in the community, but behind the scenes they're doing some shady stuff. It really makes you, and you get to see the corruption and what they're trying to do. It's like, man, this could really happen. It's like there's a realism to this movie, and that's why I dig it. The music's on point. Roy Scheider does great. I can't say enough about Blue Thunder. My third favorite movie of all time. Check it out. All right, guys, number 2. So between it was kind of a tough one between number 1 and number 2. It really was. And the truth is, I've actually probably watched my number 2 more than my number 1, mainly because of what we did in high school when it came out. And I'll tell you about it more later, but here. My number 2 is Universal Soldier with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. Now, you know, when this movie came out, it's like you rarely got two action guys in one movie. Usually they were by themselves in a movie with a bunch of no-names. But when we got this, it's like, wow, both of them are in it? They're in the same movie together? Hell yeah, right? So I went and saw this movie 12 times at the theaters, no kidding. I liked it so much. It was a lot of good action, good solid action movie. I will say this, Dolph Lundgren steals the show. His performance as Sergeant Andrew Scott / GR13. I mean, to be fair, I think Van Damme was just playing his character out. I'm going to say Van Damme's character, I'm going to blame I'm going to put some blame on the writers, because Van Damme's character is just kind of very low-key, soft-spoken, doesn't really get too excited. He's just kind of there, and he's almost in a daze. That's the best way I can say it. He's almost in a daze the whole movie. But that's why Dolph outshines him, because, Dolph is the villain. He's over the top. He's like, he's in relentless pursuit. He's trying to chase him down and kill him. He wants to kill him. But yeah, check out these screenshots on the back. There's Dolph there. He's got Van Damme. Van Damme's like knocked out right there at that point. And I love the uniforms they wore. The uniform and the headset, because those are like, that headset is like a camera, because they were having people giving them orders so those people could watch and see what they're doing in real time as they are on the mission. So that was like cool. There was a lot of cool elements in this movie. And again, most of the stuff they did in this movie, the stunts and the special effects were real. Real explosions, real cars ramping, real helicopters, real guys dropping out of the helicopter into the water. Not this CGI crap that we have today. That's my biggest complaint about movies today, is this CGI is just so overused. It's like, come on, I want to see more than that. Give me some real stuff. But yeah, anyways, back to this one. Very solid action, sci-fi, action-adventure movie from the early 90s. 1992. I mean, Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren, martial art, guns, explosions, hand-to-hand combat. What else can you ask for, right? And like I said, Dolph has a villain. He's pretty sadistic. He's pretty psychotic a little bit. He's a little crazy. And that's cool. You want your villain like that. You don't want your villain boring. So, yeah. There's a good shot of Dolph on the... right there, right? But yeah, Universal Soldier is my number 2 favorite movie of all time. Alright, so that leads to number 1, right? And number 1 is Terminator 2, Judgment Day. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Also Robert Patrick as the T-1000. Awesome performance on his part. Linda Hamilton is back as Sarah Connor. And Edward Furlong is introduced as John Connor, the future leader of the Resistance. And as you can see there, this movie is autographed. So yeah, I got Edward Furlong, who played John Connor, to autograph my VHS copy. And this was a factory sealed copy, so I actually had him break the factory seal and sign it. So I had him sign it first there. There's to Justin from... that's the signature right there, and then there's John Connor. Now, on the back, Robert Patrick was also there, so I got a chance to meet him. He played the T-1000, so he signed the back for me. So he wrote T-1000. There's a signature, and I had him right there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, right here. I had him say, "Call to John now." That's like, something he said in the movie to Sarah when he stabbed her in the shoulder with his, with his finger, basically. But yeah, I got a chance to meet Edward Furlong and Robert Patrick the same day. Got my picture taken with them and their autographs. So here's my picture of Edward Furlong, and then I'll also include a picture I took of Robert Patrick that day. So yes, Terminator 2 is my #1 favorite movie of all time. It's one of those rare movies where the sequel outdid the original. The sequel was actually better. Not to take anything away from the first Terminator movie, but this one they just amped everything up. But yeah, I like this movie so much that I also had to get the special edition. Okay, this is one where this one here actually includes 15 minutes of additional footage, not featured in the theatrical release. And really, when I watch this movie, I always want to watch this one, because those scenes that are in this one that they left out of the theatrical release, to me it's like, man, yeah, those are cool scenes, and they're like really, to me, important. They're important to part of the movie, and really just expand on things. So I really will prefer to watch this special edition over the theatrical release pretty much any time. So yeah, this is my VHS copy of that. So how it works is, basically it's a double cassette. Now one is just the movie with the special edition, and then the other one is basically the making of it, like a behind the scenes featurette, So it's only like a half hour long or something like that. No, 40 minutes. So yeah, so that's kind of cool. With you got the movie with the 15 minutes of additional footage, plus the featurette of behind the scenes making of it, and here's an awesome insert on the box there, right? Got some cool photos, a little bit of text to read about it. Yeah, it's like, so yeah, this special edition is yeah, I really dig it. Really nice. I had to get this, right? It's my favorite movie of all time. Had to get the special edition. So that pretty much wraps up my top 100 movies, guys, of all time. So I know this has been a long video, and I appreciate you, those of you that have stuck around for the whole thing. I appreciate you. I appreciate your patience, because sometimes I know I can be long-winded, but like when it comes to stuff like this, these movies that are that's important to me or special to me or hold a special meaning to me, right? As far as my growing up or my good memories I have, it's like it's like I'm kind of sharing that with you guys. I'm sharing a part of me with you guys. So hopefully, if nothing else, you guys appreciate that. My openness, my honesty, and a little bit about my history, with these movies. So anyways, guys, I would love to know what you think, #1, of my list overall. Right? Now, try to keep it positive. Let's try to keep that positivity flowing and growing, right? But yeah, tell me, give me some of the movies that you like. Maybe give me your top 10. You don't have to give me 100, but maybe give me your top 10 movies. Or also, I would like to know of my top 100. Was there any of my top 100 that you like or like a lot? Did you like most of my movies on my list? Did you think most of my movies in my top 100 are pretty kick-ass, thumbs-up movies, right? Let me know in the comments below what you think overall. So, yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. I think I've rambled on long enough. This has been it's going to take a long time to edit this video. I've had to film this. It took a long time filming it, because 100 movies is I basically took 10 at a time and then filmed that section, and it's so basically I divided up into 10 sections, right? Well, and actually the filming of this video did take a couple days. I split it up. You can probably notice I actually have a different shirt on now with this top 30 than I did my first 70. So yeah, this video is probably going to be my one I got the most time in as far as filming, editing, saving it and uploading. It's gonna be a long lot of work. So hopefully you guys, if nothing else, appreciate the effort I put into making these videos for you guys. And again, I like making these videos for you guys. It's a hobby. YouTube is a hobby, and I like sharing. It's like I like sharing my stuff I'm interested in, and also getting feedback from you guys, and basically to find out what you think of like these movies or games or whatever I'm doing, right? So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a long video, but I appreciate you guys that stuck around to watch the whole thing. But if this is your first time to the channel, tap the red subscribe button down there, then the bell next to it, ding ding, and that way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. So until next time, guys, keep it retro. Okay, just a quick thing here. Wanted to share this as I was doing my top 100, right? Now these movies aren't in my top 100. These three here. See if I can hold all three of them. Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and then Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I'm giving these, I guess, an honorary mention. Basically, they wanted to be included in this video. What do I mean by that? Alright. Well, as I was pulling movies off the shelf, when I had my list, my list of 100 movies. So as I'm pulling them off the shelf, and I was pulling 10 at a time, just to make it easier on myself. So, I pulled a couple and went to my table because I was setting them on my kitchen table, right? As my back was turned to my movie shelf in the living room, these three movies came crashing down on the floor, hitting a spoon and made the spoon spin and make the noise on the floor, the clang, clang, clang. So you're like, well, you probably nudged them loose, right? And that's what happened. Nope. But see, because the thing is, these movies, okay, they're like on the very top. Like, it's basically what I have, like a bookshelf. I'll have to do a video of it. I have a bookshelf type case where, it has shelves, and then, but it has a top. So that top part, doesn't have any sides. So these movies were in the middle, okay, in the middle on top. And the thing about it is I put the movies back, and I wasn't pulling movies from the top. I was getting movies from the shelves below. I put the movies back, right? I tried to shake the movie shelf. They would not budge. They were solid. It's like, and especially too, like these two here, okay? Even if I did this, because I have them standing up like this on the top, so you can see the cover. I had them like this. Even if I did this, pushed it myself, tipped it over, they just went like this because this movie is like 6 inches from the edge of the. Okay, so 6 inches from the edge of the. So it's like, even if I pushed on it, it'd still be just laying like that. So, yeah, something weird happened. I don't know. It was like kind of freaked me out actually, because it was like, because here's how it goes. These ones are side by side, because I have my Friday the 13th and my Nightmare on Elm Street. So you could even say, well, maybe like here we go. Maybe this one could have failed, and even this one. But this one, how did this one happen? Because this one's behind this one here. So okay, one goes, but how does? No, they both they both went off the shelf. Plus this one went off the shelf. I was kind of freaked out about it. I was like, because recently I just watched The Conjuring 3. Well, I actually did watched all 3 of them because the third one came out just recently. So yeah, after watching doing a Conjuring marathon, then these guys take a nosedive on the floor, hitting a spoon, making it flip and spin, and it just kind of freaked me out. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to take it. They want to be included in my video somehow, so I'm gonna include them this way. They didn't make my top 100. Okay, really, the only 2 horror movies that made my top 100 was the original Halloween and Friday the 13th Part 3. So, but yeah, just thought I would give them an honorable mention so they're not mad at me. Don't need any more episodes, right? So, just thought I would share that interesting little story there. Alright guys, we've made it to the top 10. So coming in at that is Edward Furlong as John Connor. That's his signature, because again, wow.